Hi, YouTube. I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing okay, not too bad. I really have been enjoying Bro Sanchez's channel. At first, I was a little put off thinking, well, because he's a vegan and yeah, there's good reason why um, when we're eating animals, we should be aware of the energy that goes into everything that we eat. And um, yeah, anyway, I'm pretty well aware of all that stuff, what he's talking about. The one thing that I do have, not against him, but for him, is um, he was so hurt, I can tell by all the lies, and he's got a deep love and respect for his mother and his wife. That's, I think, what spurred him on to, or just getting to the truth of the situation of how, but I'll get back to that point. But um, that we've been under a patriarch society with the warring nature of men versus the nurturing type of spirit that a woman carries. Obviously, we've been under satanic rule versus what is godlike, you know, and we all can tell that's not. It's not something we're waiting for. It's something we've been slaves to forever. And but my point for him is to let him know that we do have a father, and although he reveres the goddess, she reveres her father, um, the father of everybody. Um, but that brings me back to mind, like the terminology of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. They take the woman out. I've heard other teachers that will totally leave the Spirit of God out, no matter who's carrying it. Like there isn't even a spirit connected with the whole situation. So it kind of goes both ways. But for me, I'm hoping that God can go in his heart, and I can tell he got burnt by the church. I can just tell because um, I've I've felt that way within conformed religions. They still make me feel that way. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So, um, I wouldn't mind going to church if it was with a group of people that I felt comfortable, and it was for a social outing type of thing, and to sing songs and to gather with friends or family or whatever. That would be good for me. But then maybe not either, depending on who's preaching and who's saying what. So yeah, excuse me a moment. Cheers. Yeah. But yeah, Mr. Sanchez has uncovered. I don't know where he gathered all his information, but he's got informations that Jesuits know, that Jews know, that most Gentiles do not know. I don't know another Christian teacher that, and I don't think he considers himself Christian. I don't know another God loving teacher that has that amount of information. If they do have bits and pieces of it, if they're speaking of the Baphomet or whatever it is, they do not know what they're talking about. And they're using the terminology of the patriarch, which would be the fatherly figure on this world, to deceive people and to paint the woman as something that she isn't and never has been. So, in that respect, he's got my attention on his teachings for just about everything, you know? So, because, yeah, um, no woman ever did come out of a man, and it's never going to happen. Perhaps his thoughts, but not physically out of him ever. It never has happened, you know. And well, some people think that they're like the womb of creation. You know, that's Satan's role, to pretend that he is the father of mankind, the father, mother of. It's impossible. It's a lie. Anybody promoting that type of nonsense is a liar. It's not provable. It's not scientific, and even in the spiritual world, it's flippin' retarded. We might have an interruption. I've got a fuse that's out, and I asked Doug to check it. He said when he gets time. So if he comes in, we'll just deal with it there. But um, yeah, 'cause it's in a weird place, and he knows them better than I do. So he's got them marked, but they're hard to see. So anyway, we might have an interruption, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, it is important for people to realize that in this world, in our flesh, there's men, women, and babies, and nothing else, you know. And this is the push. They've been setting this up to devour the woman, and in their ulterior motive, their ultimate goal is to eliminate women. If you eliminate women, Satan won. If there's nobody to give birth, you're not going to exist. That's his goal, you know. So then he'd have control over the whole situation, over God's people, like he has had for. And the people helping him do it, they're not of God, they're of him. They're all one thing. They're his minions, you know. And the reason and how you can tell is because they're not open minded enough to search for the truth. They are stubborn in their ways, and set with anything that's set before them that they deem as true. They won't search the matter out as a king. They stay um, subservient to Satan's whims, quite frankly. They don't want to know anymore. Well, I'll tell you what, if somebody told me that some dude gave birth to another dude and that was their religion and I was a woman, I would think to myself, but what happened to the mom? And how did these guys give birth to the mom? You know, because they didn't, you know. But anybody that's pushing, if you're a son of a man, you have a father and a mother. You're also the son of a woman, you know. It's the language that they use within the scriptures to deceive people, is what it is. And Bro Sanchez gets down to the etymology of the words and where they came from and the history. And he's thorough, thorough. I had unsubbed to him and sub back up because I thought that there was some kind of race thing going on with him, but I think there is more to it, and I didn't give him a fair chance. I had listened to somebody else's opinion, quite frankly, and unsubbed. And then God brought him before me again. and it seemed interesting, so I listened. Actually, a friend kept pushing me and pushing me to listen to the goddess information. And I was stubborn. I mean, it only took this guy about 2 years of insulting me, and he wasn't actually insulting me, but I took it as that because I thought he was trying to attack God. Once again, this is somebody that will trust the goddess, but then leave God out of the picture, and that's what's going on with the whole thing. It seems like it's either one or the other or the mix of the two, but never an actual natural family, you know? So, which is, by any stretch of the imagination, the most normal conclusion of how we all began was through a womb. And that's what they're trying to eliminate on this planet is our honor for the mother in there, you know, because, and quite frankly, a lot of women don't act honorable. So it isn't really a far stretch for a lot of men to say, well, we'll just dump on her or get rid of her or hide her or whatever because she doesn't mean anything to us anyway. But if you listen to how Bro Sanchez explains everything of the warring nature, how the men started killing, that was the forbidden fruit to eat flesh, and that makes perfect logical sense because women being gardeners and herbalists and that type of thing, doctors, medicine type of minded, taking care of people type of minded females, you know, that type nurturing, you know, and there's certain attributes that we have that the men wanted to get rid of so they could control the whole world without having to be told, no, you shouldn't do that because this will harm this or that. They didn't want none of that. They didn't want to hear anything about it. Now look at the way the world is with all the wars and stuff. If I had an argument with my neighbor lady, which we have had, you wouldn't see us smacking each other or fighting or going to war or calling each other names. No, we just work it out, you know. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but things work out, you know. But we sure didn't go to war over it. But if it was two men, mm, that'd be a different story. Most men would not handle it as gracefully as women do, you know. Just really most men, not all, you know. But taking the mom out of the picture hasn't worked well for the world, you know. And lying about her, you know. So I'm gonna honor the people that aren't gonna lie about her and cover her up and hide her and try and teach them that it is a family affair, it is a family thing. There's the father and the mother and the offsprings, you know. I would recommend his channel to everybody. It doesn't matter what your faith is, to want to know what history is and when they changed things and why they changed things and how they changed them. Right down to symbols that used to be, uh, now they're used for evil and they never were before, you know. Like the Ankh, the round circle with the line, that's the woman's symbol, you know, or the X, you know, that's the woman's symbol. And men have one of them, but women have two. We're different right from the start. We're different, you know, we are not the creator, but the creator of life, you know, as we know it on this planet, with God's help, the spark of God. But you can't take the woman out of the picture and still expect to have a life, you know, because you just won't. Without her, nobody's here. So, what if this is a trial run? And I've said this before. What if I was the one that determined whether or not you existed in the future? And it really had nothing to do with any man. It would have to do with what's going on inside my body. What if those were the facts? Would that put any kind of fear in you? I don't know. I think I'd be a little intimidated if somebody had that type of power over me. I mean, the woman obviously doesn't have power over this world at this point. That doesn't mean that it doesn't belong to her, or that she shouldn't have, or that she won't have in the future, you know. I think God gave her some special things that is going to put everybody in their place, and they're going to have to deal with it or whatever. And that is too where the saying, give up the ghosts, tell the gain truth about it. Just tell the truth. That's giving up the ghosts. That's telling everybody exactly who the divine spirit is. Divine as to divide within our veins. That was the woman's job through her womb. You know, like with my kids, that was my blood, not the man's. The man's blood did not put those children on this earth, you know, and it was my egg, and the spark came from God through the man. And that's immaculate. I mean, that is a glorious position within itself, and in the image of God. You know, it's a two-part system, of course. That's the duality we live in. That's the reality of the two-part system. Nothing else. It's not good or evil. It's men and women joining together and knowing that their energy both comes from the same source. I hate that word in a manner of speaking, but you know. So yeah, men are gonna ego trip on this, and if they want to truly eliminate the woman, then I think it's only fair that she feels the same way about them. You know, it's like, bye, hasn't been nice knowing you, and I'm glad that I won't ever know you even existed. You know, so it's like a nightmare. But anyway, that would be a really rotten thing to do, to lie and swindle and take over and murder and kill and take what was a world of peace ran by the mother and eliminate her and turn it into a world of wars and going to work and having to worry about everything where you lived in peace. But people that wanted control, that wasn't good enough for them because they wanted control, and the only way they could take that control was to kill and silence and hide her. She's the one under attack. Take a look around. This is not a mother's world. This is a man's world, isn't it? Well, it's not his world, but he's running it right now for a short time. His time is short. Just as long as people don't get it twisted. There's a mom, a dad, and a baby. And the baby carries the spirit of the father, and he got it twisted from his own ego and the hatred for both of them, basically. Trying to separate from mom and dad really, uh, it's going to backfire, you know. So I always liken it to, or um, not liken it. I guess that's not the word. I use the example of a mother and a child or a baby getting angry at an adult. It's like, yeah, you got to look at the faculties of that little person. Does it actually know what it's doing? If it did, um, if you were truly in danger, you'd eliminate it. You know. So, but it's intolerable nonetheless when you have somebody that you actually put on this planet disregard and disrespect and dishonor you for all that you've done, then they're not appreciating their existence very much, are they? So, and yes, we all have mothers. We didn't come out of a man. No man ever came out of a man. It is not the son of a man. It's the son of a woman. It is the language, and it's just like the church or the bride. These fuckers have done nothing but dirtied women on this planet for over 2,000 years for their own gains, for money and power and wars, all of it. And men want to be in charge? Are you kidding me? If there was no mom in a household, think about it. When the baby's freaking out, who really, I mean, there's good dads out there. But when that baby, just say a newborn baby's freaking out, who helps that baby? It's not the dad. The dad does not nurse the baby. He doesn't carry the baby. He doesn't know the baby until the baby's on the outside of the mother, you know? Unless you're God himself, then you know who your babies are. But normally men don't know that till they see the whites of their eyes and they're like, oh, you look sort of like me. Otherwise, they just don't know because they weren't in there. They weren't a part of that fleshly connection with the mom, like the mom and the child were, you know? So the mom's got a closer connection in that area and knows the baby, knows the child better right off the start, right from the beginning. So, so I really have, for decades, had nobody that really understood any of my emotions, my love for people, or why that would even be there, my anger with people, or why that would even be there. I mean, all of it, any of it. It's been really difficult. But lately, I've been running across people like with bits of truth here and there, and it really makes my heart feel 100% better. You know, if we can ever get rid of this silly lie that two men put us here, or three, if we ever can eliminate that off this planet, we'll be doing good. You know, that's why I'll always have a huge respect for Vladimir Putin. There's a mommy, a daddy, and a baby. Um, he's never lied to the people about the creation of human beings like the rest of the government's trying to push this Baphomet existence of stuff, you know. It's so repulsive, the mix of this and that, and people pretending that they're different entities that they aren't in the flesh, you know. I'm not saying there isn't spirits that are very dragon like or lizard like or lion like or whatever, but we're human beings. We're going with real this year. 2024 is going to be the year of reality for people. It's time we do a reality check with logic and proven science, not the fairy tale they're trying to make. If we don't get a grip on it for the little people, they're going to be living in this hell for another 2,000 years, or who knows how long, forever. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies. Well, maybe I would. Maybe, yeah. Second thought, maybe I would. For them to have to guess, or for them to even think that a woman came out of a man, maybe that's good for them. Maybe they need that in their lives. That's who they are. And it is blatant homosexuality on this planet. I mean, that's why it's so crazy right now, because that's who these men are. They hate women. If they're not telling the truth and digging down to the truth, they hate women. It's as simple as that. I mean, they might um, love the flesh or their bodies or whatever, but their souls and who they are, they don't love us at all. And that's just proof that they never have, and they maybe never will. Then maybe they just don't need to exist. And I think that's probably what's going on. That's separating the wheats from the tares, you know? Pretty sure. You know, like I hear men saying that, and the symbol of Aquarius being a man with a balance. No, it's not. It is the woman. And it's just like Lady Liberty on the new coin. That's who she is. It's not a man. She's the one that holds the balance in the whole thing, and without her, the whole world's screwed. Mm, it's a good thing she cares. If she didn't care, um, society would cannibalize itself like it's doing right now if she didn't step in and help. That spirit from God that drives me. That's really the only reason I talk. It's trying to reach some people that are really stubborn from their egos. Hey, I could do that too. I am uh, every once in a while I get that feeling myself, but I know it's a two-part system and I don't do it alone. But if somebody thinks that they do, hey, ultimately I don't care because I do have that much power. So you can go on your ego trip and just be thankful I'm not doing the same thing because I will be that balance and I will be that voice of reason and I'm not going to shut up, you know? And I'll keep presenting my proof no matter who wants to see it. And you will recognize my face in the whole thing. And you won't be able to deny it. And then you'll have to wonder, is resurrection actually a real thing? And how do you go about doing that? Is that anything that even crosses your mind? Do you want to learn how to ascend? Or do you want to stay in Satan's grip forever? It's really a simple question. It's a simple solution, too. All you got to do is realize number one, we didn't make ourselves, and number two, we have to revere and honor our mother and Mother Earth, or get the out of here and don't come back. It's as simple as that. That's what Mother Earth is telling everybody today. Don't like it? Leave. Would you like some help? I could plan something for you. Just let me know. I'm capable of that. Honestly, I can even get help. I don't have to do anything myself. Just think about that before you go tripping with your boys. That if you don't like your life, you don't have to worry about it. It won't happen again. You know, and be like somebody saying, "Hey, Barb, I'm a little kid, you want to come out and play? We're all going to play. We can't play the game without you." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm just entertaining myself, but thank you anyway." You know, but then they can't even play the game. Yeah. Well, that's what's going on. They've been playing a game with love and trust and honesty, and it's time that it quit. And it's not the man that brings about the change. It's the men that are going to work with the woman and the women to bring about the change. We don't do it alone. We either do it together or you're not doing it at all, ever, without that womb. That's why there was no womb at the end for Jesus. I just want you all to think about it. I'm not kidding either. But, you know, this is a chance to do what's right in the world. and expose the people that are pushing the Baphomet lie to confuse people, and the lies that is leaving the mother, the wife, the mother, whoever you want to call our creator's female counterpart. If you want to leave her out of the picture, then she's going to want to leave you out of the picture. That's the bottom line. That's just what I'm telling you. And some men know that. Some men don't have an ego on that, because when they say they love their mothers and their wives and their daughters or nieces, whoever, they mean it. They're not just paying lip service to whoever is listening to them. They have that actual honor and respect. Now, if she's not respectable, she's not using her estrogen as a female. She's getting in touch with her testosterone, and she's my enemy. That's a fact. So, well, I'm going to leave it here today. I just wanted to make it really, really clear that the Trinity is a real thing. And there's going to be a time where people are going to understand that you've been really loved out there. It's just that you've been talking to the wrong person. I don't care who says what. You've been talking to the wrong person of hatred for you and for the female. And if you look at it like this, there's a man and a woman, and you go out in this world, and they hate you both because you are a man and a woman, and they are queer. They can hate us because they want the bloody mess. They want the greedy ways. They want you to be a slave. They don't want peace and family and gardens and homes and animals. They don't want nothing to do with any normalcy in the world at all. And that's what we're battling. We're battling a queer society ran by men and the women that help them. And that's the satanic force. That's the darkness we battle every day. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. Check out Bro Sanchez's Mother Goddess series. Keep in mind when you're watching that, there's a Father God. I know he's hurt, I can tell. All I can do is, and I am. He'll be okay, I have a feeling. But for some reason, he's just really hurt. And I mean, I am too, with the way men have always treated me. I can I can thoroughly understand that. But then I've had a lot of women do a lot of shady stuff. In fact, I've never really had a good female friend. I've always wanted one, but I've never felt that they were worthy enough. So I always do or say something that ultimately is going to shut the whole thing off, one way or another, and it's usually by my hands or my mouth, or I do something. I usually do, because I can't handle stupid people. And somebody that's going to represent me on this planet and be like me, I want them to be like me, not like a man, and not catering to them like that. If they don't cater to their family from their hearts, they can say they do, but yeah, and I can see why there's been these gender wars. You know, I understand that. Why wouldn't a woman fight back? She's fighting all by herself. But when I find people that are fighting for my side, that's cool. I just need them to know that the Almighty Creator is a masculine, our Father, and well, everybody's gonna find out what trouble they're in. I mean, I'm in trouble because I don't abide to Satan and I never will. So my life has not been pleasant. So, but his won't be so cherry in the future either. He's had some fat days that are going to end with all his queer ways. He's actually not queer, but he made everybody else that way. And he made you hate women too. Some of you. Even other women. Wow. That's the part that gets me right there, is the bullshit and the jealousy and all the ill repute shit that I can't handle out of another woman. It's like, no. Ladies, anybody? Do you feel me there? I mean, I can handle stupid out of a man better than I can a woman when it comes to like indiscretions of our soul. That's the fact. It's I can't deal with it very well. I don't. I won't. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Bros Sanchez. Trust me.